We're going to look at a function of a log graph. Question 6 says the graph of f of x equals log 4x is drawn below. They're saying b is a point which is k and 2 is a point on f. They're saying this value here is b, which is k and 2. What we need to know, in a log graph, on your y-axis is what you have something called an asymptote, meaning this graph will never ever pass the y-axis. So the first question says calculate the value of k. So first thing we'll do is they gave us a question that said f of x equals log 4x. Now wherever we see f of x, we now can replace it with y equals log 4x. F of x means the same thing as y. So they said the point B is k and 2. Means that the x value is k and the y value is 2. So we'll substitute it. We'll say y equals log 4x. We'll say 2 equals log 4k. We'll say k equals 4 squared. Therefore k is equals to 16. So we'll go on our diagram. We'll say k is now 16. The next question says determine the values for x for which minus 1 less than equals to f of x is less than equals to 2. So wherever we see f of x, we now can replace it with y. Now they're saying when the y value is between minus 1 and 2, what are the x values? So wherever we see y, we'll now replace it with x. Earlier we just calculated, we said when y was 2, x was 16. So all we'll do is, wherever we say y was 2, x is 16. They also want us to find out what the value is when y is minus 1. So we'll substitute minus 1 to the original equation. We'll say log 4x equals to minus 1. We make x the subject of the formula. We take the 4, we put it there and put the minus 1 on the top. 4 to the power minus 1 is a quarter. So all we'll do now, wherever we see minus 1, we now replace it with quarter. So our solution will be quarter less than equals to x less than equals to 16. The next question says for which values of x, which x, they're asking us about this line here now, times f of minus 1x. Now the inverse of a log graph, first they want us to find the equation of the log graph. So to find the equation of the log graph, we'll say y equals to log 4x, that's the original question. Wherever we see x, we put y, wherever we see y, we put x. Then after that, we make y the subject of the formula, and you make 4 to the power x. You take this, you put it on that side, and you put the x as an exponent. And that's your answer. What we need to remember, that whenever we have an exponential graph, it's always going to say plus 0, meaning it has an asymptote at 0. So if we have to come back to this graph here, it means that this graph will never ever pass this point here. Now because we now have a new equation that says y equals 4 to the power x, it's now reflected in the y equals to x line. So if I have to sketch this graph, it will go like this. Because in the front here is a positive x, the graph will go this way. Now the question says for which values for x, they want to know looking at these lines here. This side of the Cartesian plane is negative. This side of the Cartesian plane, the x value is positive. They're saying which value, if you take a x value and if you take a y value and you multiply them together, it will be less than 0. So we're all happy that this is negative x, negative x, negative x. This here corresponds with positive y values. So a negative times a positive will equal to a negative. So here it satisfies what we need. It satisfies after we pass x equals to 0, this starts becoming a positive value, and this becomes a positive value. A positive times a positive is a positive answer. We are wanting negative answers. So the answer will just say x is less than 0. So 6.4 x less than